Frank Ragnow of your Detroit Lions. You are now tuning into the official new hotness, the OnePride Podcast, presented by ISN. This is your source for all Detroit Lions news, rumors, pre- and post-game day breakdowns. Go Lions.
What's going on, YouTube? This is Mr. MicroMike, and we are here with the OnePride Podcast, talk all things Detroit Lions news, rumors, analysis, breakdown, and everything regarding our franchise. In this live stream, we're going to talk about what has been going on. Before we do that, we got to say what's up to the folks in the chat. We got the Dern. What's going on, Dern?
What's going on? What's going on, everyone? Hope everyone's having a great day.
Oh, I think they are. And we got Sizzle Fantasy Sports back with us. He was with us last week. What's going on, Sizzle?
How's it going? Can't wait to talk some football. Happy to be back on the show.
And we appreciate it. And we got Mr. 33 away from 1K. They call him back in the day Marky Mark. Mark Orem from Orem's Forum. What's going on, man?
What's going on, fellas? Let's have a good show. Let's talk some football, man. Let's go.
Hey, Mark, you know what you got to do, man.
What's up, buddy?
We got to do it, man.
That woo. You got to do it.
Woo!
Yeah.
There it is.
Let's go.
What's going on? Nothing. We got Jamie Warren, Sheldon McCurry, Vash Sarwin, and we got Kelvin. What's going on, Sparkman? Menelik, I destroyed your name. Tim Monroe, Plan B. Tony, Bryce, Kev'd up, a member of mine. Same with Travis Doyle. Huge shout out to the members. Carolina guy, what's going on? He was repping the other day. We got the Gridiron Blitz. Justin May, the rapper. He's an obsessed Lions fan. Man, we're here for another one. As soon as you people trickle in, hey, you know we give shout outs here on my channel. Ric Flair, what do you think of that? We appreciate it, Ric Flair. Mark Orem from Orem's Forum. Alex Anzalone, the Detroit Lions signed a linebacker to help out this inept, this distraught linebacking core. What do you think of Anzalone?
Anzalone, man, he's a good little linebacker. Well, not little, 6'3", 240 pounds, big guy. Problem with this guy is that he's got a lot of injury history, bad shoulders. But I know his thing coming out of college when he wasn't much of a pass coverage linebacker, but I know he's improved that drastically over the years, and he can get to the quarterback as well. They use him in the blitz, stuffs the run, sideline to sideline guy. We needed a linebacker. I think this is a nice step in the right direction, and very cheap signing 1 year. I think they gave this guy like $2 million or something like that. They didn't give him a lot of money at all. And it's if he can stay healthy, I think he would help out the linebacker room for sure.
Hey, we got to have some bodies there. And he's got, he's a decent frame, but he's got some fabulous hair.
Beautiful
Fabio hair. I seen that in the comment. That's right, MKY9. This dude is Fabio. Mark?
He's totally Fabio, man. I know I did my video on him, and in the picture I have him. It's just his locks are flowing. So,
do you think he stands in front of a fan and like, oh, and
he
do
better.
all that?
He should do it 24/7. A guy like that, man.
No doubt about it. Hey, we got Sizzle Fantasy Sports. Make sure you subscribe to his channel, folks. Sizzle Fantasy Sports. How do you find that out? Well, I got a link here. All you got to do is look at that link directly to his channel. Sizzle, what do you think about Anzalone signing with the Detroit Lions for a 1-year deal?
Yeah, I think Anzalone, as you mentioned, has got that fantastic blonde locks going on, almost Clay Matthews-esque for the former green and gold. So nonetheless, though, as a 1-year rental type deal, I think it's a very nice pickup. The linebacking core needs help in Detroit, so hopefully you guys are going into that 4-3 system because we talked about last time around here. That is where the strength of the defense is at right now. But I think he walks in there and he probably grasps himself a starting job because of what he's done so far. Injuries have been an issue, but I think his ability to cover will help out for sure. He's got some nice highlights, making interceptions as a member of the Saints, and he can do things off the blitz as well. So I think it's an under-the-radar pickup for the Lions.
Yeah, definitely. Look, it's an upgrade from what we had via Christian Jones, as well as obviously the great Jarrad Davis when it comes to getting some sort of linebacking play. Folks, this is not the end-all, be-all guy. This is going to be a guy. Just like we have 45 in the building with only 22 thumbs up. Let's get those thumbs up, and I'm sure Anzalone's hair will appreciate it. Dern, what do you think about Anzalone joining the Detroit Lions on a 1-year deal.
I know it's not much, but for some reason, he seems like a faster Paul Warlow, if you remember him. Your outside line. Yeah, I haven't seen too much of this guy. He's always hurt. Exactly like Paul Warlow.
Yeah.
I don't know how much he's gonna do, what spot he's gonna fill, but he's pretty fast. He's probably faster than any of the other linebackers that we have. But where are you putting him is my question.
When you said Par Willow, I just thought,
oh my God,
we need to have individuals that's better. What again?
Oh my God,
than having Paul Warlow in here, because he did absolutely nothing for this team. So hopefully he can contribute a little bit. I get a little bit. I don't know why I said little bay. We're not living in San Francisco here. I think we're getting, again, our linebacking core that's going to be the big-time piece will be in this NFL draft, the NFL draft. And there was a linebacker today that ran a 4.39 40 named Micah Parsons. If Mark Orem could change his name, it would be Parsons Forum from Micah's Forum.
I would.
Mark, what do you think about this 40 time?
Well, I'm blown away by it. I'm absolutely blown away by it, man. I knew the kid was fast. But I didn't know he was that he was going to go under 4.4. Ran a 4.39. Apparently, he ran an unofficial 4.35, but they rounded. I guess that it ended up being a 4.39 at the end of the day. Listen, this kid is. I know a lot of people don't want him. Dern doesn't want him at 7. I get it.
At 7.
I do get it. Hey, man, I get it. But this guy, I think he is a game changer. There's not a lot to his game that you can criticize. If you're going to criticize anything about this kid, it's maybe the fact that he hasn't played a lot of man in college. He did a lot of drop back and zone. He's a read and react type linebacker. He's a game changer. He's going to get to the quarterback. He's going to live in the backfield. He's going to wrap you up. He's not going to kill you. He's not a typical thumper though. He won't knock you on your butt. Like if you're going to criticize him about his tackling, is that he kind of like he's a wrap and drag down type of guy, but he doesn't miss tackles. He doesn't miss the tackle. But
what
he is a game changer. Forced fumble.
Is Kev'd Up dropping a $1.99 super chat. Appreciate you. He says the future of our linebacking core killed his pro day today. Talking about Micah Parsons. Hey, I appreciate your super chat. You guys are the MVPs, and that's how you support this channel. Sizzle, Micah Parsons, 4.39. I see Joey 2 times. I see you in there. Yes, you got to wait a month. But what do you think about this?
I think Micah Parsons is a fantastic prospect coming into this year's draft. My mocks I've been doing on the channel lately, he's kind of been like a hot potato. Like it seems like fan bases don't really want him because of that off the field stuff. But if that stuff clears up, the guy is going to be so talented. Like was mentioned, he does get knocked for coverage ability. But when you have those athletic intangibles and you run a sub 3 or sub 4.4 40-yard dash as a linebacker, you can teach technique. You can teach body positioning and help a guy develop into improving his coverage skills. He has so many raw talents that he can bring to the football field. Look at some of the last few draft classes here and what the most athletic and dominant off-ball linebackers have done. Not exactly the same style players, but we're still looking at guys like Roquan Smith, Devin Bush, Devin White. These are guys that have completely changed the course of defenses. And I think Micah Parsons is that guy for this 2021 class.
Alex, I love what he says here. Can we get these people running pads on their pro day? Running out of pads seems dumb. I'm with you, man. I actually think that's a great idea. Unfortunately, it's not happening. Love from Toronto, from Bafour. Well, guess what? You have a relationship with that guy on the top right. Why? Because he's in Canada as well. Dern, what do you think about Micah Parsons? You're not high in him. I don't think it's going to sway you that much, but what do you think, buddy?
That speed is unreal for a linebacker. Yeah. It kind of swayed me a little bit, but still, I'm still confused on those off-the-field issues for him. So I still wouldn't take him at 7. I'm sticking with what I wanted to do in the first place, either trade back, or if you're stuck at number 7, get your dominant tackle in Slater. If you don't want him to play, if you don't want to play him at tackle, put him at your right guard. You need both of those spots. Why not fill that offensive line? You said you want to run the ball. So instead of talking about it, how about you show us so we actually do it for once? We heard all that talk with Patricia, and it never happened. So how about you just show us?
And again, when it comes to
the truth was that.
And look, I want to see what the chat thinks. Do you guys think, hey, Man Beast Morris is in the building? What's going on, Man Beast? Subscribe to Man Beast's channel. He is a content creator. He's actually one of the OGs of this game. Subscribe to Man Beast Morris if you haven't done so. When it comes to Micah Parsons versus any other player, who do you want in the draft, chat? Let's see some spamming going on. P for Parsons, A for anybody else. Because I know a lot of people are not high on Micah Parsons. For me personally, I just want to take the best player available. It's simple as that. And I kind of want to trade back. If we can trade back, that'd be fan-freaking-tastic. And that's what's important for our team. But Micah Parsons, it was impressive for him doing it. We got Kev'd up. He says Parsons. We got A from Eric, A from Zach. Bare bones, barely bones, A, P, A, T. Okay, trade back. So we got some trade backs kind of mixed here with A from Barely Bones and Jeremiah Owusu-Karamoah. I love Jeremiah Owusu-Karamoah. Panthers guy says, the Carolina guy says, Panthers trade for Trevor. Yeah, you'd be giving up everything you own to attempt to do that. And I'm talking about your underwear as well because getting that guy just seems extremely unlikely. But it is what it is. The Detroit Lions did make another signing, though, folks. It was a wide receiver, another fast guy to a one-year deal. They signed former Browns wide receiver Damion Ratley. Dern, what do you think about this signing?
Yeah, like I was telling you guys before, I don't know much about this guy. I just know that he was fast and that he was from the Browns. That's literally it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very fast, and he's from the Cleveland Browns. Mark Orm from Worms for him.
Yeah.
Any more intake on this guy? Do you think he's just a body filler?
Well, pretty much. I think he's going to be a guy that's going to probably battle with Kalif Raymond for special team, for a kick returner / punt returner. He is a guy that's 6'2", 200 pounds, drafted in the 6th round from out of Texas A&M by the Cleveland Browns. Speed to burn, not really known for his physicality. Route running's a little bit shady. He's going to be a guy that's going to hopefully stretch the field for you, but I think he's going to be a camp body and a guy that's going to battle for a special team spot, especially as a returner.
What do you think about him there, Sizzle, when it comes to Damion Ratley?
I think that Ratley is certainly nothing to hang your hat on at the end of the day. I think he might come in and do some solid things on special teams or be a rotation or depth wide receiver, but this is in no sense a move to acquire a starter here. I think Kalif Raymond could do a better job in the return game or as a special teamer anyways. So I think he is a guy who comes into training camp, tries to make a name for himself with a new change of scenery, and who knows what will happen. But he is a burner, so he could do something there, maybe make a couple big plays this season.
Just see if he makes the team. That's my thing here. We're getting speed. To me, it just continues this concept of what we're going to be doing in the draft here, and it's speed, more speed. Hopefully they're not taking some PEDs because these guys are just coming off the board when it comes to speed. What do you think of Owa? He killed it today. Mark Orm from Orm's Forum. He did ran a fast 40 time as well. Seems like everybody from Penn State ran a sub 4.4, even the mailman over there.
Yeah, this is a guy that, man, I watched that whole Penn State Pro Day today, and he's a physical specimen out there. The way he ran was incredible at 257 pounds. That's insane, but his production wasn't much at Penn State. Missed a few games too. He's missed games. 2019, he only played 13 games. So the production just isn't really there. I know, but he's a guy that you would love to, like as a coach, to maybe get your hands on and try to mold. But I'm not sure where I'd take him. They got him rated going in the first, second round. I don't see it. I think that's a risk in doing that. But a good D-line coach would maybe want to get his hands on him and see, and then like just mold him. But I would take a guy like that in the 3rd round. I don't know. Just production's not there. Production's just not there.
Dern, what do you think about him running that high speed? The production wasn't there really much on the field. Do you change consideration because he ran fast?
I mean, it's nice, but I mean, his arms measured at 34.5 inches at his pro day. Explosiveness, 39.5 inch vertical jump. I mean, there's some traits there, but from what I heard and what I've seen, he was very inconsistent.
He was consistently inconsistent. That seems to be the phrase of the day behind the scenes here. Sizzle, what do you think about his 40 time? Running that big time, is he moving up draft boards now?
I think he was starting to get some hype a little bit before this, but I definitely think this will probably add to his hype. I'm still not a huge guy on Jason Owa. I think he could be a solid prospect. I think he's more of a second or third round pick, probably more likely to go in the second. I've actually only really mocked him close to the first round once. He's a guy who didn't get a sack last season, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. And he does get after the quarterback and put pressure on them. But at the end of the day, you would like to see him get home. The thing I would say that kind of boosts his game up and gives him something to fall back on is that he does play the run pretty aggressively. So that's something that could be good for a football team that he goes to. But I wouldn't be terribly excited about him as a premier pass rusher in a class that really doesn't have a clear-cut 1A guy.
Yeah, for sure. I'm still with you there. So, look, I don't put all my stock in 40 times and jumps and all that stuff. I want to see the play on the field. That's most important to me when it comes to that asset. Today there was a mock draft dropped, and it was like a bombshell heard around the world from Dave Burkett, our own Lions beat writer. He mocked one Kyle Pitts to the Detroit Lions with that 7th pick in the draft. Dern, the Lions pick Kyle Pitts. Your reaction would be?
Very interesting. I mean, if they know how to use him, sure. If they're planning on using him just as a tight end, then please know we already have a really good tight end. And we have so many holes to fill. But if you use him like they say he can do, line him up in the slot or on the outside like a wide receiver, then, I mean, why not? The dude's freak. He's a freak.
I think what the Lions need to do is with the 7th pick, take a tight end. With the 2nd pick, take a tight end. With the 3rd, 4th, everything, just take
all
tight ends. Everything tight ends. They have a fascination.
Jesse James is gone. We're fine.
We just going to have a team full of tight ends, man. Last year, the Chicago Bears had 11 tight ends on their team. Now the Detroit Lions going to draft 11 tight ends. Mark Orm from Worms Forum. What do you think about Dave Burkett sending a tight end at number 7, Kyle Pitts, to the Lions?
Well, somebody needs to drug test Dave Burkett right away. Immediately. Get him in the office, man. You know, do your thing, bro. We need you to take a test because we cannot take a tight end at 7 and hopefully turn him into a wide receiver or just run some kind of 2 tight end set. That's not the way to build a team, I don't think. Yes, the kid's a freak. He's a freak in nature. Very unguardable at the college level. He's probably going to be a special player. He's going to be. But I don't think it's the right move right now for the Detroit Lions to do. We have too many greater needs than that to go after a tight end. I love Pitts, but not at 7. No way.
Kevin Sparkman dropped a $1.99 super sticker. Hey, I appreciate you, Kevin. Hey, that's absolutely awesome supporting the channel, and I appreciate it. Okay, Sizzle, Lions, they take a tight end. What would be your thoughts after going TJ Hockettson? Before that, Pettigrew. Before that was Ebron, then Pettigrew. We take a tight end this year again.
Yeah, if I was a Lions fan, I'd be extremely disappointed if you went Pitts. I get it. He is a great receiving threat, and that's at least what he's advertised to be. But the main thing here for tight ends is how the coaching staff uses them in a scheme, because tight ends are one of the easiest positions to have wash away and get swept under the rug and forgotten about if you don't use them properly. Obviously, Hawkinson's a beast. You invested, what was he, like the 10th overall pick, I believe, that year? He was 8th overall. Yeah, so even higher. I think that you'd be better off just picking a pure wide receiver if you're looking for a pass catcher. I know you're bringing in all these guys, but these guys aren't going to be franchise-changing wideouts. I say either invest it into that Slater pick, which I think is solid, or go wide receiver. You've got Waddle and Smith that'll probably be there. I think that's a smarter route to go.
Look, I think Kyle Pitts has major abilities, and he would be a good weapon for Jared Goff. At the same time, I feel that if you really want to make this team better, you're going to run the football by selecting a potential right tackle. Now, when it comes to Mel Kipa Jr., he did a mock draft the other day, and the Lions had options to take Penei Sewell, and they in his mock draft, because Penei Sewell fell, they took Devonta Smith, wide receiver. Dern. If Lions are sitting at 7 and Penei Sewell's there and they go Devonta Smith, would that be a smart move?
That mock draft is an absolute joke.
Who did Cincinnati take in that mock if they didn't go Sewell?
They probably took Pitts. Man. They probably took Pitts, I would bet.
So you're going to take a guy.
That's a mistake.
You're going to take a toothpick guy that's 170 soaking wet over a dynamic offensive tackle that they say is the best tackle in years. I don't understand it. And you have that tackle falling to 9. It just doesn't make any sense to me why that would happen. Is he going to end? I do have one theory. Does he think that he's going to end up like that other tackle that was caught smoking pot and he just dropped in the draft? Yeah.
Maybe.
I'll tell you what, there's no chance trade ups or no trade ups. I know Mel doesn't typically do trading up for quarterbacks and whatnot. Regardless, there's no way Penei Sewell falls to 9 or 7 or anywhere. Nope. He is going top 5. He's been talked about for over a year as the premier offensive line prospect of the decade. He will not be on the board at that pick.
Yeah, I agree.
If he was there at 7 and we go Devonta Smith.
Yeah, and then the fact he doesn't have you take him is laughable to me. I think that's just ridiculous, honestly.
I would just be hearing this for a long time. Penei Sewell on the board. Mark Orm from Orm's Forum. Devonta Smith. They go Devonta Smith. Your thoughts?
I'm losing my mind. There's no way, man. You got to take the big fella. The only problem is it's not a problem, but you would have to play him at right tackle. And I don't think that's an issue because Decker's still a good left tackle in the NFL. But can you imagine having those two guys as bookends? Jared Goff would be thanking Brad Holmes for the rest of his life. That would be a nice welcome to the D present for Jared Goff if Sewell fell there. But if they took Devonta Smith, man, it would be so SOL. I don't even know. I think I would just go to bed. I would walk off this show and I think I would just go to sleep, Mike, or try to go to sleep.
Well, if you want to see reactions to what's taking place on the NFL draft night on my channel, we are live day 1 on my channel. Day 2, it's going to be on the Gridiron Blitz, and day 3 on Troxel Sports Talk. So if we pick Devonta Smith and Sewell's there, if you want to see someone get very angry live, make sure you are there because that's exactly what is going to happen. Now, Sean says, all of us. There'd be a lot of bumps. Do you think the Lions will commit to running game this year? They will draft a good O-line in the draft. I am 100% convinced they are going to commit to running the football this year. And why is that? Because this is Dan Campbell what he wants. He wants that run first, that pound you in the mouth, play action. This is exactly what Jared Goff was good at with LA Rams. Play action with speedy receivers. They get the great Jamal Williams, who came from the Green Bay Packers. Appreciate you, Sizzle, because this dude's awesome. He's got a great attitude. Love this guy. Awesome. Him and Swift should be the focal point of this Lions offense. If they do go offensive line, I mean, we're going to have a top 5 offensive line. We already got a pretty good one now. You expect to run that football, and those holes are going to be open. Mark Orm from Orm's Forum. Do you believe for the first time in many years the Lions will go ahead and finally commit to running the football?
Yes, but it comes down to a few things when it comes down to football. Yeah, you have to be able to hold and sustain leads in the NFL to be able to commit to the running game. So he can say all he wants that, we're going to commit to the running game, but you have to be able to hold the other teams out of the end zone because, when you're down, you're throwing the ball a lot. And that's what's happened a lot in the past with our former quarterback, number 9. He was just chucking the ball all over the place. Now, Dan Campbell's saying all the right things, but you have to put a team around Jared Goff first, and you have to put out a good defense to commit to the running game. Personally, I think defense is the main key on how to establish a good running game, because sustain that lead, take the lead, and just rush, beat out the clock. Take a lot of time off the clock, and then that's how you can commit to the running game. But it starts with the defense. So that's the only way I can see it happening.
Says, love this channel. I also subscribed to Mark's channel yesterday. Love my lines. I want to see more W's this time. Folks, you see these channels here? Chat Sports. Subscribe to Chat Sports. I'm a partner with them. Michigan Football Reporter James Yoder. That is my boss. He's all Michigan here. Infinite Sports Network. And of course, TA Noble Sports right there. Subscribe to their channels. We appreciate it. And if you support this channel, all you got to do is click that little thumbs up like button. It's free. The more likes you get, the more chance the video gets out. And that guy, James Yoder, will not put his foot in my 2 points of contact, and I would appreciate that. Dern, do you think we're going to commit to running the football for the first time since Barry Sanders?
We had this exact same question last year, and I told you guys, when I see it, I will believe it. And it never came to fruition. So I am once again going to say I have to see it to believe it, because like I said, we've heard this talk before and it just never happened. What I want to see, we already got Jamal Williams, and he's a really good running back. I loved his press conference. It was one of the best ones I've ever seen. I just need to see it.
Yeah, we need to see it as well. Now we got Sizzle here. He's a Packers fan. He's been watching the Detroit Lions for some time. Do you finally believe that we're going to run the football? This is something we've never done before. In your eyes, again, you know Jamal Williams. Do you think the Lions are going to commit to running this football?
I think that, do I believe it necessarily? I'm going to go along the lines of I'll have to see it to believe it. But does it absolutely have to be the building block of this offense? Yes. If Dan Campbell is going to have a successful tenure here as the Lions head coach, he has to commit to running the football early, and he has to make it the identity of this offense. Jared Goff is not a great ad-libber. He doesn't do well outside of the pocket and moving with his legs. He needs to play within the system, do what he did well in LA, get that run game going, set up play action passes, and like you said, distribute that ball to the wide receivers that have some speed, and hopefully they can make some nice plays. But the offseason moves, adding Jamal Williams, it tells us they want to run the ball, but we still have to see it. Quick note here. Is Kerryon Johnson just getting lost in the shuffle, or what's his deal? Because I remember he was going to be the next big thing for the Lions, and he was the best running back you guys have seen in some time when he first came in, but he's kind of fell off a cliff lately.
He was trying to go to the, to get in the shovel there, you're saying, but he fell and hurt his knee on his way, and he's sitting on the bench. Because right now, I don't know what's going on with his game, but he gets tackled by the first guy that touches him. And yes, he's definitely getting lost in the shovel. He is in the back, and he may not even make this team. That's just how much poor his play has,
Yeah, I think he's barely holding on to that number 3 spot, man. They love him because he can block, and Deuce Staley is asking all his running backs to be able to do it. But I think he's barely holding on to that number 3 spot. So we'll see when the draft comes or after the draft.
Absolutely. Round 1, love your videos. Do you think we could take Surtain at 7 at move Jeff Okudah to the slot position? No. If you want to see a worse pick than taking Kyle Pitts is taking another cornerback at that 7 spot. If you want to see riots on the streets, Surtain would be that pick. Now, the LA had riots. Detroit back in the day had some riots. We don't need to have that anymore. I do not see that being the case at all. It would definitely be a fire to all the personnel of the Detroit Lions if that occurred. So, yeah, for sure. I want to talk about what came out today, an article about the dysfunction relationship between Jared Goff and his former head coach, McVay. Now I read the article. It's talking about how McVay was just going on him, just trashing him on the sideline, and the relationship just kept getting worse and worse and worse, thus hurting the ability of Jared Goff. What do you think about this, Mark? Do you think that maybe with a better relationship, Jared Goff can flourish a little bit more like he was doing a couple years ago?
Yeah, like I think it's like that with any type of coach and player relationship. You know what I mean? If you guys have a mutual respect for each other, I think it can flourish. But some things happen in LA where there's some text messages made by Jared Goff towards McVay's girlfriend and fiance at the time, where he said it to his boys, and I think that's where it all started from. I think it started from that, and McVay never really let it go. And then they, I think McVay's offense too has started. Belichick figured it out. Bill Belichick is the one who figured that out. It says it right in the article, right? It says it right in the article. So they kind of figured out that offense, and I think McVay took maybe that to heart as well too, and he started blaming his quarterback. And I heard it was all one-sided arguments, man, with just McVay yelling at him constantly. So if you don't have a mutual respect for each other, it's not going to work. Like, no matter how good you guys are, you know what I mean? It's just not going to work. So you got to have a mutual respect for each other, and then from there, that's it.
100%. I'm telling you right now, if my boss would just scream at me like that, like I'm back in the Army, I think I'd kind of feel some type of way, because I don't take well to that type of action. Dern, what do you think about this? Because we want to know, can Goff be old Goff? Can he come back like he was when he made it to the Super Bowl? Do you think that relationship with McVay hurt his play?
I think you guys hit it right on the head. And it's like anyone having at your normal job. If your boss comes and yells at you every single day, your emotions change, and you're not going to perform the way that you can to your full potential. And so when people when people just dog on Goff, even though he hasn't taken a snap for the Lions, he has that ability. And people forget that the Rams changed their offense to when Todd Gurley left. He was
no doubt about it.
Yeah.
If people remember right, he was top 5 in deep passes when he had that great play action.
Look, I'm really hoping this is the case and it's the fresh start concept, but I can definitely relate. Like, when you feel that type of pressure, you don't want to come into work, you're feeling depressed, everything you're doing, you feel like you're on needles. It's just not the same. You can't be normal there. Sizzle, do you think that's possible, that was the case, and then he could somewhat resurrect his career in Detroit?
Yeah, I think that there comes a point when hard coaching goes a bit too far, and I think it sounds like things got a bit personal rather instead of just coaching. Like, the only guy in the league right now who seems to take harsh criticism well is Tom Brady, and obviously him and Bruce Arians had that little dispute or public messages mid-season, and that turned out just fine. But Jared Goff's not that type of guy, and I think that he really needs to have a healthy relationship with whoever his head coach is. Dan Campbell, he's a very strong personality, it sounds like, but I think that if they can build this thing right from start to finish, it could be a lot better, and potentially moving off of McVay might actually be better for Goff in the future.
Hey, and we got 145 in the building. Let's get to 100 likes right now. We're at 62. Let's get those likes up. I did not see this rumor at all. We will talk about it in a minute, but I got a super chat. Thank you so much. James Watson says, no chat, love the channel. You guys are where I go for my Lions info. Keep up the good work. Well, I appreciate it. That is what's up, no doubt about it. And if you want more Detroit Lions information from me personally, go on Newsbreak. Detroit Lions. Lions Talk by Chat Sports. Guess what? I actually use my real name on there. It's not MicroMike. It's my real name. Hit that follow button. I think I'm in third place of all the Chat Sports channels. Let's get the OnePride Nation to be first place. So make sure you follow me there. But I appreciate that. And hey, you keep up coming in and enjoying that Lions content. That's what it's all about. We try to be going against the legacy media. They hate us. And guess what? We have our voice heard. Who also has a voice heard is the guy at the bottom corner. He has a Green Bay shirt on there. Make sure you subscribe to his channel. appreciate it. And right here is his channel. Subscribe to his channel. We support him. So I hope all my guys support him as well. So let's see here. I seen a comment I wanted to get to. May not find it, but in about 10 minutes, we go to the mailbag segment. So here's the rumor. So, folks, I get out of work actually take my lunch break at 6:30. So I did not see this rumor. Has anyone on the panel seen this rumor about A.J. Aboye might be coming to Lions?
First time for me. Yeah, first time for me.
I have not seen it. That's crazy.
I have not seen it either.
I actually just looked into AJ Boye right before we came on, and I did not see anything about this. I'm looking at it right now. He's visiting the Bengals, leaves the Vegas without a deal. So nothing's coming up for me about Detroit right now, but veteran cornerback, something to think about.
Yeah, he's had some success in the league too. Back when he was with Jacksonville.
And Houston. He was very good in his last season as a Texan.
Houston too. Yeah, that's right.
That's
how he got his big money.
Nothing wrong with getting some depth there, getting an individual that actually had success and not success being injured like a lot of our secondary players. Matthew Wren, it says, $4.99 super chat. Appreciate you. What is your opinion on the Goff restructure? Perfect transition here. Well, Kev'd up. First, I will get back to you, Wren, but we got a specific super chat here from Kev'd up.
And again.
Thank you, sir.
I appreciate your super chat, Kev'd up. Hey, your MVP. He is a member of my channel. If you want to become a member, do so. I actually drop content that you don't see here to my members. I actually did a 30-minute mock draft, 6 scenarios I just posted on there for the Detroit Lions members on my channel. So what's your opinion of the Goff restructure? This one is a mixed for me. Look, I wanted to get the bad cap situation done this year so we can have a quality football team going forward, because if Jared Goff does not work out, I don't want it to hamper the team years down the line next year when we have more cap space. With that said, it opened up $15 million cap. So he's going to be a Detroit Lion for 2 more years because the dead cap hit is $30 million, I believe, each 2 years. You're not going to cut a guy. Mark, what do you think about this restructure?
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing, man. They're going to be dedicated to him for at least a couple years. It frees up $15 million, like you said, for this year. So I don't know if they're trying to do that, if they're trying to maybe go after somebody, or if they're just hoping just to keep that money just in case after the draft when players get dropped. But it just shows that they're dedicated to him for at least 2 more years. And I'm okay with it. I don't – it's only going to – I think it only added like $5 to $7 million on the cap for the next year and the year after.
Yeah,
So it's not that bad, man. We all thought that Goff was going to be a year or 2 year audition kind of like here anyway. So I don't think it's that big of a deal. Maybe they're up to something. So who knows, man? They did free up some money. So let's see what they do with it.
No doubt about it. What are your Lions signing in the middle linebacker? We actually talked about that DSS earlier in this stream. So if you want to get a more detailed response, you can go ahead and rewind it or just rewatch it at the very end when the show is over. But I think we like it as a depth perspective, and he's better than Christian Jones. So that's a positive because Christian Jones is not good. But all of us thought it was a decent signing. It's just a 1-year deal, so if it doesn't work out, you simply move on.
He went back to Chicago, you know.
He says, did you see Aaron Rodgers not going to be returning in 21? I saw on CBS Sports. I don't believe that at all.
No, that's completely made up.
I think Sizzle would. I think Sizzle would be sizzling right now if that was the case.
I would be very heated. We'll just check on it for the sake of nothing. So I would be very upset if Aaron Rodgers was just gonna walk away from the Packers and at least not work out some sort of a trade, because that would be quite the bummer for Green Bay and our cap.
Oh man, it would definitely be a
Ultra Combo!
if he did that, no doubt about it. I think though that definitely he's coming back for 2 more years in Green Bay at least. Lions obviously value speed and athleticism. Why not take Parsons? Hey, no, they do value the speed. I mean, that's no doubt about it. And you want to know what stuck out more than me? Because I watched the pro day. I seen him interviewed, and he seems to have a personality that's kind of like a Jamal Williams, kind of like a Michael Brockers, these high personalities, very, very, big time into personality. So that seems to me that stuck out more because they're liking these type of players, Mark.
Yeah, man, his personality is through the roof. He was really colorful when he did his interview on the NFL Network, saying all the right things, being very approachable. Seems like a very approachable kid, said all the right things. So not only does he's trying to shed that off-field issues off of him, and I think it's working because no one's really talking about it anymore. So I'm not really too sure about that, but I do like the way he speaks, man, and I love his play. So.
The Detroit Lions are at 7. And, we got a super chat here again from Travis Doyley. I appreciate you, man. You always super chatting, and we appreciate it. Would you guys be angry if we took Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah over Micah Parsons in this draft? Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah at 7, I would not be happy. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah at 15 to 19, I would be happy. Now, if they took him over Micah Parsons, Dern, would you be mad?
Kinda, yeah. I would rather take the player that you know where he is going to play. Everyone was so enamored with Isaiah Simmons last year, but no one knew where to play him. And it kind of showed when he couldn't get on the field right away. So yeah. I would rather take the player that you know his strengths, where to play him.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think Micah Parsons is the best linebacker here, so that would be difficult for me to pass on the best one. But I love Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. Everybody knows this, man, because I believe he can get
I'm giving her a D, man, a strong D.
I believe that he could definitely do that. So
definitely could, hey?
Mark Oram from Orum's Forum.
Yes,
if
sir.
they took Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah over Parsons, are you upset?
I wouldn't be too happy about it, man. Just like Dern said, and this kid is small. Is he going to be too small to play linebacker? He's only 215 pounds. Does he have the frame to put on another maybe 10 pounds? He's a great cover linebacker, though. Don't get me wrong. That's where he's going to excel in the NFL. But he gets swollen up in the run game sometimes. But he is explosive. But at 7 over Parsons, no way, no how. There's no way I'm taking Jock over Parsons. No way.
Folks, your time to run the show. It's called the mailbag segment. Any question you want answered, throw it in the comments section, but please do a hashtag something. Why? Because these comments fly quick, and I tend to miss out, and I don't want to intentionally or unintentionally miss your questions. So put a hashtag ISN, hashtag Lions, hashtag Packers, hashtag with the word hashtag. That would be perfectly fine as well. So you guys run the show. Let us know. If I do miss your question, just repost it. It's not that I'm ignoring it. It's because I missed it, simply. And that's what is going it, because we want to be a winner here. We want to win. And it's all about winning. So if you got questions, let's go ahead and get at it. Micah Parsons, Sizzle, if we took Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah over Parsons, is that a bad thing?
I think that in any universe, other than if Micah Parsons' off-field issues were to significantly rack up and affect his actual playing time, it would be the wrong choice to take Owusu-Koramoah over Parsons. I think that JOK could fit nicely in the system in Detroit, but I think that Parsons is the better prospect on the board here.
Technical Jeff, would you still think Pitts is a bad pick if they play him at wide receiver? Look, he's fast, and he could be a big body at wide receiver. It just depends who would be there, right? If Jamar Chase is there and we take Parsons, I'm probably gonna be a little bit upset.
So upset.
Yeah, I think Jamar Chase, because he's already good at that position, very good. So it just all depends on who's available, and we don't know who's going to be available. But if you got a player like, a Penei Sewell, Jamar Chase, or Rashawn Slater, someone else there, and you decide to go Kyle Pitts, I think people would feel some type of way. Now, if he's the pick, hey, I support the Detroit Lions through and through. Will the Panthers get Trevor or Fields? They're not getting Trevor, Carolina guy. It's not happening. Now, they could be getting Justin P. Fields, and they definitely could be getting a Trey Lance. So, yeah, I think you guys are taking a quarterback no matter what with that pick. What do you think about that, Sizzle? You are the expert when it comes to mock drafts.
Yeah, I think that any sort of quarterback move is in play right now for Carolina. Obviously, they were heavily involved in Deshaun Watson talks, and maybe they still are, but who knows where that is at right now with all of the allegations against him. I do think they would certainly be one of the top teams on the radar to move up. I really like sending Trey Lance there to develop and learn under Teddy Bridgewater or even Justin Fields. I think maybe if you wanted to get Zach Wilson, you'd probably have to move up with the Jets at the number 2 spot. That's going to cost a bit more. So I think Fields and Lance are the two most likely to be in play for Carolina.
Lions, what's Parsons' football IQ? I don't know. Does anyone know? I have no idea if they did those tests anymore. I couldn't tell you his football IQ. I don't know his brain. I remember they used to do those tests, though, and give you a score.
What, the Wonderlick?
Yeah, the Wonderlick.
I don't know what he did. I'm not sure if he even took it today. I don't know.
I don't think so, yeah. Pick D for D. Detroit should pick D in every round. Hey, look, we need to have a very strong D. And TA Noble Sports said it best.
I'm giving her a D, man, a strong D.
Got to get that strong D. Hashtag Lions. How about the Lions draft both Parsons and Jabril Cox? Just imagine how good the linebacking core would be with those two guys. Wow, man. If so, they go Jabril Cox and they draft Parsons. Darn. What are you thinking there?
Wow.
I don't understand drafting 2 linebackers, to be honest with you. You still have Jamie. We need to figure out what kind of defense we have first and foremost. If we go to a 3-4, okay, I understand it. But there's a chance that they go a 3-3-5 or a 4-3, which doesn't make any sense to me because you just used a second-round draft pick on Tavai a couple years ago. You just drafted Romeo's brother last year. Where are you going to put all these guys?
On the field.
On the field,
but
that would be better.
On the field,
linebacker would transform.
Bro, and if you got those 2 linebackers on your squad, man, your linebackers are set for the next 10 years. You know what I mean? You are. It's just set.
So
man.
you're just cutting Collins, or what's happening with that? Because he just restructured his deal.
Well, you
It'd
can play
probably
Collins
be Jalen
still.
Reeves-Maybin. It'd probably
You
be.
can play Collins. Collins don't go nowhere, man. Imagine those 3 linebackers on the same time on the field.
I just don't understand it because we have so many holes.
Of course. True.
There's a hole. There's a hole.
Lots of holes. Lots of holes. Yeah.
Would you be angry if we grab a quarterback at 7? I know I would be. Hashtag trade freaking back. It depends who the quarterback is. If it's Mac Jones, who? Mac Jones, I'm not going to be happy, man. It depends who's there. You know, maybe Wilson somehow falls, or Trey Lance, or Justin Fields. We don't know. I'm not going to be angry. It just depends who it is. So what quarterback would be there for sure to me. Yeah. You discussed how we need to give Goff a chance with a new team, but hate on Andy Dalton. Well, Andy Dalton is...
Well...
It's a different thing here.
Can I explain this to them really quick?
Yes, go ahead.
Please do.
Okay. Andy Dalton on the Cowboys. Do you see what weapons they have? Do you see what offensive line they have? Do you see the running back they have? How well did he do with all of those weapons? I'm just throwing that question out there to you. Now, you take Dalton and you put him on a team that has worse wide receivers, worse offensive line, and worse running back, and you expect him to be better than what he was in Dallas. I mean, I don't see it, but I do understand their point. Give him a chance. I just don't see where they're going with it, though.
Got no choice but to give him a chance if you're a Chicago Bears fan.
Yeah.
They already declared him QB1.
Yeah.
I seen that. QB1.
So you have no other choice. Hey, the difference is we got 2 first-round picks and a third-round pick, and the quarterback. It was a trade. So I know they tried to go all in. The difference is they tried to get Russell Wilson, and it didn't work out, and then they got Andy Dalton. Now, if they would have got Russell Wilson, I'd have been scared. I would have been scared.
Yeah, it would have been very problematic.
Perry Ball, what would you guys want in a trade back? Depends how far we trade back. But my personal opinion, I would love to get a future next year's first-round draft pick. Imagine having 3 first-round draft picks next year. It would be like the Miami Dolphins did the year before, where they really, man, they turned that team around. But that's what I'd be looking for if we can somehow get next year's first-round draft pick. Mark Horn, what about you?
It just all depends on how far we're going back, right?
Yeah.
Like you say, I would love a first-round pick, multiple picks. So I guess it all just really depends on how far we're gonna go back. So, but give me multiple picks for sure.
Carolina guy, would you be mad if the Lions get Parsons? No, I'm not going to be. It just depends, because they could trade back to 12 and still get him. I mean, that would be a solid pickup. I mean, I wouldn't be mad if they get Parsons. We got a hole there. We got a hole. There's a hole. There's the hole at the bottom of the sea. So, I mean, there's a gigantic hole. I'm not going to be mad. I believe in best player available. Just take the best guy who's available, and I think that would work himself out. If he ends up being a stud player, great. If he ends up being a bust, well, that was a bad pick. But thank you guys. Does the Lions go wide receiver at 7 or focus on defense? Dern.
Who's dropping where is my question. If Chase is there at 7, personally, I'm gonna take him.
Okay.
But anyone else, I would rather trade back or take Slater.
Okay, so I'm gonna name off some wide receivers. Chase, yes. What about Waddle?
I would prefer to trade back or Slater.
Okay, Devonta Smith.
Prefer to trade back.
What do you think, Sizzle?
time.
What the Lions should do? Should we focus on wide receiver?
I think it depends on who's on the board. If it were Chase or Waddle for me, I would really, really consider it. I'd probably pull the trigger on Chase. Waddle, I'd really, really have to think, because I think he is a guy who could do really well in that offense. He's really good after the catch, super explosive. So I think he could really add to that speed you're trying to build the offensive approach around and help that play action game a lot. It also does depend for defense, though. I think you consider him or Parsons there. Maybe if, I don't know, I think it has to be one of those two spots or offensive line. I would consider those two wideouts, though. Otherwise, I'm probably going defense.
I 100% agree with this. Look, it's offensively heavy in this draft, at least in the first 12 picks, 12, 13 picks. Offense. The issue is we don't have a Chase Young in this year's draft, and unfortunately, There's not a Derek Brown right now. There's not a guy that's a surefire. Now, Micah Parsons is the closest thing to it.
Derek Brown was overrated.
Yeah, but
I
he's
think
still
so
good.
too.
I think he's.
But he was
player.
a good prospect, though, right?
Very
He was
good.
He was a good prospect coming out, though.
Javon Kinlaw, man, that was my guy.
Yeah.
So who's the best player available at 7? If it's a wide receiver, I have no problem taking it, because that's a hole there. It is a hole at wide receiver. We got a lot of guys on 1-year deals, and we got Quintez Cephas that's here for 2 more years.
Cephas.
Yeah, that's the way that I see it here. When the Bears signed Andy Dalton, did you guys smile a little bit? Be honest. #Jay Cutler re-signing. I did smile. I actually went on the Ghost of Judah Tribe's live podcast when it happened, and I just laughed. He let me on.
More than a smile.
he let me get on, and but you know what? Maybe it works out, and us, we're the ones getting laughed at.
You never know.
No
right?
disrespect, but I went on Discord when I heard, and I just started singing to the fellers. If you guys remember that.
Singing. I remember.
Who's available on the market for linebacker position, and who do you think we could target one? There's not really a bunch of solid guys right now in free agency. I don't think we're going to really sign anyone right now. I think it's the NFL draft, in all honesty. Yeah. So you can look at there's a ton of linebackers in this draft, a ton of good ones.
I have a feeling if we. Oh, sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
Go ahead. You go ahead first.
I said I just have a feeling if we take anybody else in free agency, I think it's going to be someone in the secondary. I think it'll be another cheap signing. So like a safety or a corner, but yeah, safety. So just like a cheap signing, like that kid out of Atlanta, that Kazee. I guess he's been linked to Detroit, but who knows?
Yeah, I think the next linebacker that'll be a Detroit line that's anything meaningful is in the NFL draft. It's full, man. You got Nick Bolton, Xavier Collins, Jeremiah Woods-Carabone, Micah Parsons. I mean, it's loaded. It's loaded. So and they're all generally like in the same, except for Micah Parsons a little bit ahead, but they're all generally around the same. And you can get one in the second round if they decide to go that route. So I think that the next big-time linebacker will be in this NFL draft. Hashtag ISN Kyle Krabs of the Draft Network new mock draft today has us getting 15 overall, number 96 overall in a 2021 first round selection, and Stephon Gilmore from the Pats for number 7. Well, that would be a haul.
Holy.
I would love to trade back to 15.
How are you going to afford Stephon Gilmore, though?
That's pretty solid. Wow.
That would be a solid trade. The thing is, though,
you figure it out. You figure it out to give him the money. You figure it out somehow, because that's what those capologists are for.
Does it make sense to bring in a guy like Gilmore, though, who's at the back end of his prime?
Probably
and
not.
For a rebuilding franchise, it might be difficult. Now, he could do wonders for Okudah's development and how he turns him into a dominant player. But for Gilmore, I feel like Detroit's not where he wants to be, just because he probably wants a win-now team and to go to a situation that's already established.
True.
Honestly, I'd take 15, number 96 in the first round next year for it.
I would take it, though.
Need the player. That's quite a haul, man.
That's a nice haul, for sure.
And you could still get a really good player at 15.
For sure.
A real good player.
Yep.
So that would be an interesting move. Even, just moving Stephon Gilmore out of there. I want to get next year's first round draft pick and make it 3. That would be just fan-freaking-tastic. Hashtag, what do you think about those that believe the Lions should trade down and draft an offensive lineman? I want to do it. Need to focus on linebacker, wide receiver, secondary. Look, it just depends how far you trade down and what you get with the trade down. If you get another second-round draft pick, you could really fill, your linebacking core and a wide receiver and a secondary piece, because you got two third rounds, you'd have 2 second rounds, and then you could really fill a team out. The second round is undervalued a lot. Why? Because the Detroit Lions have been trash getting in the second round, but you can get really good players in the second round. You don't have to get the linebacker with that first pick, or you don't have to get a wide receiver. You can't, if you trade back and get extra picks, there's some quality players out there. I wouldn't be mad. It depends who the offensive lineman is. I'm big on Penei Sewell. If he somehow fell lines to 7, or if we trade back, got Rashawn Slater to 12, whatever, I think that'd be a solid move. What do you think, Dern?
It all depends who you are trading back for. The only one, I'm not trading back to get Darisaw. I'm not trading back to get Elijah Vera Tucker. The only one I would trade back to get is Slater.
Do you think the Panthers and Lions will win the next 2 Super Bowls? No.
Sure.
Unfortunately, maybe.
Sure.
Take the draft for the capital. Yes, sir. Why don't we pick up Eric Wilson or Quan Alexander in free agency? 1 or 2 year deal, $4 million per. Mark Orem from Orem Forum.
I think Quan Alexander would probably be a little bit too much money, even though he's very injury prone. Eric Wilson, I like, man, the former Viking. I like him. I think he's from the Detroit area as well. He'd be a guy that I'd actually be interested in, but he might cost a little bit of money too. But definitely Eric Wilson I'd take a look at for sure.
Steven Lickens just says, just subscribe. Well, I appreciate you, Steven.
Thank you.
If you ain't subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Dropping content every single day. If you like your Lions news and rumors, I am the spot for it. And Mark Orem from Orem's Forum with the word Lions behind him. He is almost to 1,000 subscribers. Subscribe to his channel. His content is excellent. And, of course, we got Sizzle Fantasy Sports. Subscribe to his channel. Hey, this guy is dropping great content. And if you're a Lions fan, he does a lot of draft prospects. He's very unbiased, so make sure you subscribe to that channel. Do you believe Goff had ever had a true number 1 in LA, Dern?
Good question.
It's a very good question. What do you consider Robert Woods? I like him a lot, but I don't know if I consider him a number 1.
I don't consider him a number 1.
I don't consider Cooper Kupp a number 1 either. I think he's also a number 2.
They have a lot of number 2s. Yeah. They go number 2s a lot.
Who was that really fast guy that they used to have? Was it Stills that they had?
Kenny Stills?
No, Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, I never considered him a number 1 either. So, no, I don't really think so.
Todd Gurley was their number 1 when he was there.
Absolutely.
Pretty much, yeah. 100%.
Let me see here. Sorry. Oh, Super Chat just popped up from Corey Batten. You guys rock, man. Keeping up the good work. Well, you rock, and I appreciate you for supporting the channel. And, hey, Without you guys, this thing doesn't exist. You guys are the MVPs, and we appreciate that by doing these little things that you do. And you can trade Gilmore too. Yeah, trade him away. So you trade to get him and then trade him away.
It's a three-way trade.
Three-way trade. There we go, man. We just trade in for trading, and would love. Hey,
Why not?
You get him, turn around, trade him for a draft pick. That would be fan-freaking-tastic. That'd be outstanding. Let's see here. Here they all sleeper at linebacker late round. Jeremiah Owusu can cover and have speed. I believe. Hey, I'm with you, man. I'm high on Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah.
Yep.
Very high on him. Yeah, he's smaller, but so is Levante David. I think he worked out fairly well, if you ask me. Fairly well. If you got questions, folks, throw them our way. We got 194 in the chat with 77 thumbs up. That should be illegal. Smash that thumbs up. Let's get to at least 100 right now. No doubt about it. If Cooper Kupp or Robert Woods was on Detroit, they would be number one receivers. Right now they would.
Right now they would be. That's for sure.
We got Tyrell Williams.
100%, bro. We ain't going to fight you on that one.
Yeah. No doubt about it. But we're going to be focusing on the running game, and I think that's really, we're going to go from a team that generally focused on quarterback play and wide receiver play. I think we're transitioning from that type of philosophy to a team that focuses on the running and pounding through the trenches, and I think that's very, very important to do that. Slater dominated. Chase Young went Northwestern. Yeah, he did. He absolutely did dominate. Should we cut Jahlani Tavai, Dern?
I don't think so. You don't save any money cutting him. So what's the point? He's at least he could be really good on special teams.
Okay. Mark Moore from Orm's Forum.
Yeah, Dern's right there. There's no I don't think he's a really good middle linebacker. He's a good linebacker, nothing like that. But you're not saving any money doing it. Maybe a new regime kind of he gets a kick in the butt a little bit with this new system. Maybe they can find a spot for him. I still don't have too much faith in it, but let's just keep him on the roster for one more year. Why not?
Dat Dude Live is a Lions YouTuber. Subscribe to his channel. Got some great content there. He says, #ISN, if you're stuck at 7, who are you taking? Oh, okay, this is a great question. And if Penei Sewell's there, I'm taking Penei Sewell. That'd be my number one get. Okay, if he's there, take a Penei Sewell. After that, if Jamar Chase is there, I'll probably take Jamar Chase. If he's not there, maybe I'm looking at Rashawn Slater. I think that could be an option there. Jalen Waddle and Micah Parsons. What about you? What do you think, Sizzle? If you're the Lions and you're stuck at 7, who would you take?
I think it's really interesting because obviously we have to know who's on the board. I think that actually Philly at number 6 kind of has a huge impact on what you guys end up having access to because they have some similar team needs. They could very easily pull the trigger on Chase if he's still there. They could also try and go Slater early if they're looking to increase that offensive line play. But I think that if you've got one of the top 2 receivers on my big board, Jalen Waddle or Jamar Chase, you go that route. Otherwise, if Sewell or Slater are there, I'm taking those guys over wideouts. But if we're looking at a scenario where there's not really any good offensive players that can help the Lions and their team needs, I think you consider a guy like Micah Parsons and try and bolster that defensive unit, especially at the linebacking core.
Dern, who are you taking at 7?
What you said, Mike, was exactly what I was going to say.
Oh, my God.
Oh my God!
That's crazy, bro. Okay, so the exact same there. And no, this was not talked overhand. He's not trying to be he's not trying to be me here. Mark Orm from Orm's Forum. Who you taking at 7, man?
Well, I guess it all depends on who's there, man. But I'm still taking Micah Parsons at 7. I think he's a game-changing linebacker that you can build around for years. He's my guy, man. We need it.
What is your outlook on Deandre Swift? I'm very high with Deandre Swift right now. I'm very high. I think that he's going to have a lot of carries in the upcoming season and seasons to come. I think he is going to really be the focal point of this offense. We're going to focus on running that football. Jamal Williams is definitely in there, but I think that helps out Swift. I think that makes his outlook even better because he's not doing everything himself, and that's really going to help the team out. What's your outlook on Swift, Sizzle?
I think that if you're looking for a stud fantasy back this year, DeAndre Swift might be one of the most interesting guys to go after because he's going to see a lot of work in the rushing offense and the passing game, which is huge for that. But I think as long as he stays healthy, and he did get dinged up, he had a concussion, and what was the other thing that was nagging him last season that held him out of some games a bit? I think he had something with,
he had like a quad or something like that.
It was a quad or a hamstring, I think, maybe an ankle. It was something lower body. But nonetheless, if he stays healthy, he is going to be bursting on the scene, year 2 breakout type potential. He's got all the talent in the world, super versatile guy. The offense is going to be able to be built around him if he stays on the field. I think Swift is one of the more intriguing second-year backs this season.
One more again, Ric Flair. That is definitely dope. You know what? That 3 woos. When you talk about him, we're actually having a running game and utilizing in fantasy. That deserves a lot of woos. And what's another woo is Frog Crop. He says, with a $10 super chat, appreciate you. He says, I want to say the coaching understands what Goff needs to win, and they're doing very well. We have diamonds in the rough, but coaching makes the B's into A's. This coaching staff is in a much better position to be successful than the last one because the last one was not a coaching staff. It was a circus clown. So I'm
pretty much, yeah.
Frog Crop, I'm with you, man. I think that this coaching staff's going to get the most out of the players that they possibly can get, and I think the players are going to work really hard with these guys. They're going to be respected. A lot of the coaches are former players, so just like Coach Campbell said, if we have an injury, we got a lot of former players here, Campbell. Suit up, come a tight end. Like we got former players that can play the position, Mark.
Oh, I know. It's crazy, man. They should do like a comparison with other teams. I guarantee you, man, our squad's taking on any team in the NFL, man, with our coaches. Got a lot of coaches, man, that were players. So I love it. And that means that they can be that they can have relationships with our players. It's something that we haven't had here in a while. We had that with Caldwell a little bit. He was more of a player's coach. So now that we got all these guys, all these former players, I love it, man. And we can have a nice relationship with their current players. It's going to be nice.
Yes, it's going to be nice. I can't wait to see it on the field performing. We may not get a ton of wins just because of deprived talent, and that's possible, but I do believe that the players are going to put in the effort to attempt to do as best as they can, unlike the last regime when it comes to us. Folks, make sure you subscribe to Sizzle Fantasy Sports here. Again, he is on this show. We want him to get some more subscribers. Right there is the link. Just copy it. Good to go. Goes right to his channel. Subscribe to the channel. And Mark Orm from Orm's Forum, we got to get this guy to 1,000 subscribers. It is so important to get this guy to 1,000. He's so close, and then he gets to feel what it's like to be at 1K and Troxel Sports Talk and the Gridiron Blitz. So subscribe to their channels. And look, that's what it's all about, man. That's what it's all about. We got another super chat here from Coach Adam Taylor. Compare and contrast Parsons from Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. I like Owusu-Koramoah better. What I think here is Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is sideline to sideline. I think he's got that speed. I think he's got that instincts. I think he definitely can cover well in the middle. And I think he could be a hybrid if need be to drop back a little bit in a safety position. When it comes to Micah Parsons, he can get after the passer. He's fast. He can sack you. I think he's decent in coverage. I just think is the best in coverage. I think Koramoah is a little bit better, but at the same time, Micah Parsons is also much heavier. He's around 240-ish pounds when Owusu-Koramoah is at about 215.
Yeah.
So compare and contrast, that's kind of what we see in there. It depends what type of style you want and what type of player you want via size, and that's kind of really what it is, you know.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Two different linebackers. Yeah,
very good linebackers. What player in the top 10 pick fits our coaches? Ooh, that's a great question. What player in the top 10 pick fits our coaches? Whew. Well, I know a lot of people's not going to want to hear this answer. Devonta Smith, he's fast. We've been doing nothing but fast speed here when it comes to wide receivers.
Waddle's faster, though. Waddle's faster than Smith.
Yeah,
he is.
That he is.
that he is, but he was injured last year too.
True.
Yeah, but Waddle was also playing better than Smith before Waddle got hurt.
Yeah. Hey,
People
look,
forget that.
I prefer Waddle over Smith. That's not even a thing. I think another player that would have the personality-wise would be Micah Parsons. He's got that personality. Physicality-wise, wouldn't you just love to have Penei Sewell on this offensive line?
I hate to say it. I really hate to say it, but I think Parsons would be a Chris Spillman guy.
Yeah, it does feel like it. Yeah, it does. It does. If you heard him interview, make sure you guys check it out. I'm sure it's somewhere on YouTube. It does really sound like that. What say you, Sizzle? What do you believe? What type of players in the top 10 would fit what we want here of biting kneecaps off?
Honestly, when I first heard the question, the first place my head went to was Devontae Smith. I think that obviously wide receiver is a team need, but when you look at the offense that you at least expect that they're going to run with Jared Goff, looking back at what the Rams did with him, I think Devontae Smith is the mold for the type of wide receiver they have there. He's not your true X wide receiver one player who's going to line up on the side of the formation by himself, but he can go out there and run really crisp routes. He is a good athlete, and he can get stuff done after the catch on screen passes and swing routes and whatnot. So that's where my head went initially. I think any of these offensive linemen would be a good fit. Rashawn Slater and his versatility is excellent. Otherwise, I think if the 4-3 system is where this team goes, I think Micah Parsons could be a very nice fit as well.
And there you have it, folks. That is from Sizzle Fantasy Sports. Folks, we're 14 thumbs up from one hundo, 187 to building. Let's get those thumbs up while we end this show, because we've been on for about an hour and 11 minutes and 42 seconds. The show is an hour and 15. So at the end, we like to close this bad boy out. The Dern, what do you got to say to the folks out there while we end this show?
What I would like to say is that this Jared Goff restructure should tell you that the Lions are not going to take a quarterback at 7. Sorry, guys. This is what I think. And I just wanted to ruffle some feathers. So there you go. Have a great day.
We did get a super chat. Which team do you see most likely to trade up with the Lions at number 12? San Francisco 49ers, New England Patriots. Those
Denver Broncos.
Teams. Denver Broncos at 9, yeah. So that could be an easy trade up.
That'd be a nice one.
So I thank you so much for that super chat, Steven. Hey, I appreciate you. I definitely feel like those are the teams that could. I know the Bears may want to be aggressive, but I just don't think that the Lions would trade with the Bears via NFC North. Sizzle, what do you got to say while we close this bad boy out?
Just want to say thank you for having me on again. It was a great opportunity. Had a lot of fun with you guys. I think that, Detroit's got themselves a big offseason ahead. Obviously, we're moving through free agency here, but this draft's a big one. It's important that you guys find the right pieces, and I think that under the new regime, coming from a Packer fan, it's looking good for you guys, and you're headed in the right direction. So go check me out on Sizzle Fantasy Sports on YouTube. I'll drop the link down in the comments one more time, and we'll see you guys later.
There you go. That is that link to his channel. He can put it in the comments as well. Make sure you subscribe, because guess what? I am, and I love the mock drafts. He's dropping mock drafts. He's doing
mock draft Mondays.
Mock draft Mondays. Gotta love it. So make sure you are there to see those mock drafts. And we got nearly 1K Marky Mark from Mark Orem from Orem's Forum. Appreciate you with the great shows. Appreciate that. What do you got to say while we close this bad boy out?
Another great show. Thanks a lot, Mike. Sizzle, Dern, it was awesome. Thanks everybody in the chat. I got some content coming out probably tomorrow. I will have some out tomorrow. And come on, Lions, go get Micah Parsons. Let's pair him up with Romeo Okwara, baby. Let's go.
96 likes away there, fellas. We're 4 away. Smash that like button. Let's get to 100. You can do that while we close this bad boy out. Make sure you follow me on Newsbreak. It is Lions by Chat Sports. Make sure you follow me. Got 60 followers last time I checked. I am number 3 in the pecking order. Let's get to number 1. With that said, folks, I do got a video dropping tomorrow like every single day. And make sure you, on Sunday, check this video that I'll be dropping out, because you'll probably and most likely could possibly be on it, because it's the mailbag segment. Subscribe to everyone on the panel. And with that said, folks,